Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis coming to you from, of course, Attorney King Studio in beautiful Coronado, California, at IQ Podcast Show, of course, with the Brett Davis Podcast. I have Casey Dugan, who is, of course, the owner of Gum Saan, the mineral miners gems
and minerals across the street.
Yeah, so many words.
It's a lot. It's a mouthful.
Right?
Yes.
But it's okay. Practice makes perfect. So we've been coming to you for a long time because whenever I want good gems or stones or we love going into your store. It's an old town. It's just like our favorite place to go to when we're there.
Much appreciated.
Well, I think when you love what you do and you help so many people, I think it's very easy to for people want to come to you because there's an energy and a vibe that your place has when it's very welcoming.
We try and create an experience for everyone that comes in.
So, of course, you got into this. How did you get into this?
My parents have had stores down there for about 44 years. So I was raised up in the business. And when I was 18, I was given the opportunity to take over one of their stores, which was primarily Asian. And I've been going to Nepal, India, Thailand, and sourcing all these free trade products for about 12 years now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think it's fabulous stuff. Everything that you have and that you're doing. So you're born into this. Your parents are close by because they have their own shop, of course, too.
Exactly. Thank God we get along.
Yeah, I mean that's a very very rare situation. A lot of times, family can't work together.
100%.
So a lot of continuity. That's great. So, what is it about what you do that you like the best?
I would say it's a culmination of a lot of things. Getting to travel, getting to pursue a passion, but also helping artisans around the world, supporting them and their families. Having people come in and say that they're the only stop that comes in the store, and they come from out of town to see you multiple times a year, and they just love what you do and support it. So there's a lot of different aspects that make it very fulfilling.
That's great. So today you brought a few things with you.
I did.
And this is from Nepal. So when you go to Nepal, how has things changed with the whole pandemic thing? How did that change for you?
Not being able to travel, but it's been pretty devastating to a lot of the families that I help to support in Nepal. Their lockdown is much more extreme than ours, where
really
they are only allowed a half an hour to an hour a day to go outside. And it's very kind of scary, the situation that they're in right now. And
that's horrible.
Yeah, it's very sad. So during the pandemic, we've been able to place orders for bracelets and singing bowls and to help support them and get them through the pandemic. But a lot of the artisans aren't making product because they can't get a hold of it, so it's
scarcity.
Scarcity. Exactly.
So a lot of the things that you have at the shop are from Nepal?
I would say 90%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're helping, of course, put food on the table for them and help they can make a living. But because of the pandemic, the sources were hard to get a lot of that.
Yeah, very hard. Very, very hard. And the lead time was, instead of maybe 3 weeks, it would take 2 or 3 months to get product.
Unbelievable.
And the shipping costs have tripled and quadrupled. So
why is that?
Less air traffic. So, you're having to pay more to get on a plane and import the stuff, and there's less people handling and packaging everything. So the costs have gone up in every industry a lot.
So show us what you brought today and explain exactly what the tools are used for, or what would you call them?
The main thing that I'd love to talk about today is the singing bowls. And that's something that has definitely not only changed my life, but I've seen so many other people incorporate it into their daily routine, and it's life-changing. And I can, living through experience, it's changed my whole consciousness, my state of being, and just how happy and grounded and just at peace I am. So what's some of these, I traveled to about 6 different regions of Nepal, and each family has a specific way of crafting a bowl, whether it be the thickness of the bowl, the shape, the size. This one is all hand carved by an amazing husband and wife in Patan, which is one of the very old kingdoms in the Kathmandu Valley, and they do this all by hammer and chisel.
In the Kathmandu Valley?
Yes, exactly.
So a hand chisel, and this is what kind of alloy is this?
It's 7 different metals. So it incorporates gold, silver, iron, copper, tin, mercury, and lead. And because of that unique combination of metals, and also that it's hand forged, that creates a beautiful sound.
See, there's more to this whole thing. It's not just metal. It's a combination of these different alloys.
Exactly.
Okay. How much does something like this sell for?
Uh, there are lots of different variables. This one, since it's hand carved, would cost about $500.
Really?
Yeah. To make this style of bowl without doing any of the decoration on it, it would take about 20 hours to make. It's a reheating and pounding consistently for many, many hours, and then they have to mill it, and then they have to polish it.
You know what's amazing is that apparently this has been around for probably thousands of years, I would guess.
One family that I work with, 2,000 years of making bowls in Nepal.
I mean, a lot of trial and error to be able
Exactly.
to add the metals and come up with that whole concept. And it's not something you could just Google.
Definitely not.
It's something that took a lot of practice, and probably thought, well, why don't we try this and see if we can. So they're trying to get this probably vibration effect. I mean, thousands of years ago, right?
And it's been proven through science now that, for instance, it helps to synchronize hemispheres of the brain, create alpha waves, decrease tension, helps with alleviating muscle pain. It makes a lot of sense too, because our body is made out of water. And when you apply a vibration on water, it completely changes the chemistry of it. And there's a really amazing scientist. He's actually from Japan. He's passed away on now, but his name is Dr. Emoto. And he did this really interesting research where he would speak into water and then he would flash freeze it. And if he said anything positive like light and love and happiness, it would make, and then he would flash freeze it to make these beautiful crystalline structures in the water. And if he said anything negative like hate, greed, lust, it would make and do the same exact thing, same water, it'd make these ungeometric patterns in the water. And instead of being translucent, it would be opaque. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yeah. So you can translate it to our body, because, we're primarily composed of water. So when we have negative thoughts, when we have negative habits, when we hang around negative people or negative environments, it's affecting our body.
So vibration is not something we talk about in the United States a lot, do we?
Not at all.
Is it talked a lot about in Nepal?
You'd be surprised, not so much. It's kind of like a lost art and
Really?
healing technique. Yeah. My teacher, who I have his book here, he had to train in Nepal for many, many years, going up into very rural parts of Nepal to find these shamans and healers to create his system. So you would think going there, everyone knows about sound and vibration and the bowls. I've met maybe 50% of the people in Nepal don't even know what a singing bowl is. It's pretty wild.
Well, 50% is still better than probably what is in the United States.
It's getting there. You'd be surprised. A lot of people are familiar with, due to social media and, even unfortunately the Kardashians had sound and vibration therapy on their show. And, it's becoming pretty widely known and mainstream.
Very interesting. Hopefully it's helping them.
I hope so.
Okay. Show us a little bit about what the singing bowl does.
Simplistically, hopefully you can hear on here.
Can you hold it up a little bit and will it vibrate still?
Oh yeah. So what I've been taught is that depending on where you place it on the body, around the body, the sequence of notes that you play around, as kind of specified here in the book, it'll create different healing properties throughout the body.
Hold the book up so people can see that.
Yeah, this gentleman, he changed my life 100%. He's such an incredible soul, and I owe a lot to him through who I am. And
and he's still alive.
He's still alive. He lives in Boulder in Colorado.
Boulder?
Yeah.
So you went over and spent some time in Boulder and studied with him?
Exactly. And actually, one of my first trips to Nepal, he introduced me to a lot of the families that I still work with today. So he's an amazing human being.
So I feel that there's a peacefulness when you did that came across, that kind of like just kind of feel kind of relaxed and centered. I don't know if it's, how much of it's physical and how much of it's psychological.
It's both. Yeah.
So I felt a calmness when you did it. And then I noticed in the book, he has a variety of singing bowls around somebody that he's working with. What's that all about?
So as I was expressing, so depending on where you place the bowl around the body, you can actually place it directly on top of the body and play it. and it just has different healing properties. So within this, you can do healing with one bowl, you can do healing with up into 8 or 9 bowls. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve: relaxation or helping with anger, depression, anxiety. You know, what your intention is and what focus you want on the healing. There are different protocols that you can work on. You can simply just use the bowl 5 to 10 minutes a day, playing it in your hand, and just focus on your intentions for the day. And it's incredibly powerful.
So why are we not talking more about? I mean, you say we are talking more about it in the United States, but why aren't we using it more frequently? Is it a cultural thing? Is it just a knowledge thing? Because I for years have heard that vibration has more effects on us than we even realize.
As quantum science has proven that everything is vibration. So if you look at anything as small as a cell of DNA up into a planet or a universe, they're all vibrating at different frequencies. So it's kind of a before science and spirituality would be almost the most negative opponents. But now there's a lot of science going into proving a lot of these things in spirituality. So there's a marriage that's happening right before our eyes, which is pretty cool. And it makes people that are much more logical and wanting to experience things in a different way versus being very open minded and spiritual. It's kind of proving it and making it more understandable towards them so that maybe they'll try it.
So what do you? Oh,
yeah.
Sarah wants to be relaxed. I've stressed her out all this, so she needs really extra vibration. Sorry, Sarah.
And it's
Ooh. You do this all day? You do this throughout the day?
with all the crazy people I deal with, yeah, I have to.
So I noticed the other day when I left your store,
Yeah.
you started taking that bowl and you had to leave. And so after I left you, I saw you doing it. Did I stress you out a little bit?
No, not at all. You're quite the opposite. You always bring a smile.
Thank you. So what else did you bring with you today? Because I see a couple other things you have. And I love the singing bowl, by the way. I want to get a bigger one. We need one for the office, I think.
I actually have bowls you can stand inside of too. You've seen them there.
I've never seen a bowl that big.
Oh, 24 inches. Yeah, you can actually stand inside of it.
Oh, I was going to say you have a 6'2" bowl where you just
lay down in.
Yeah. Better than the water tanks where you go in there relax.
Yeah.
The bowls could be very
yeah, absolutely.
So what else do you have? You have some interesting things. What is this today that you brought?
Just some various items from the store. This is another piece that is part of Tibetan Buddhism. It's called a dorje, and it's a meditative tool that one would hold during.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, please. Meditation, and it would symbolically cut through ignorance and unbalance to bring about peace and light.
Now, I noticed when I picked that up, you said ignorance. Why did you say that to me?
It was just perfect timing.
Okay, there you go.
And it's carved out of Himalayan quartz, and it's actually extracted from Sherpas in the Himalayas, about 15,000 feet up in the mountains that they have to extract this from and then hand carve. So it comes from the highest quartz mine in the world, which is kind of
interesting.
Neat. Yeah. And so just various different implements. This one is a rose quartz Ganesh. It's another stone that's from the Himalayas and all hand carved very intricately. It's just what makes a lot of these products really special is that they're still done by hand versus machine. So it takes exponentially more time to craft these pieces.
So being that it's handcrafted compared to using machines, does that somehow change vibration at all with what they're about?
Absolutely. You can relate it to the singing bowls. There are plenty on Amazon or anything like that are made by machine, and the sound isn't nearly as powerful. And you can tell that, when they're hammering these bowls into shape, that they're infusing their intention into it while making it. So I think anything made by hand has a special energy to it.
I think so too. There's something about hand craftsmanship.
Exactly. It makes it special, unique, one of a kind.
Sure. So how long do you think something like a singing bowl like this would probably take to make? How many hours do you think?
The pounding, about 20 hours, and then the carving, another maybe 20 hours, which, I
for some reason could see somebody working on something like that for months.
It could be. Absolutely.
The detail is just amazing.
It's quite incredible. There's no question about that.
And you said it had 7 different types of alloys?
Exactly. But it varies. So I've had some bowls tested at as little as 3 metals and up to 15 different metals when they're older. So it just I get them from villages, it just depends on what the artisan has available at the time when making the bowl. And the lore has it that even some of them have melted down meteorites, which they call sky iron,
Mhm.
and melted down into the bowl. It's nearly impossible to tell exactly which bowls have this, material in it, but it just makes it that much more cool.
Very interesting. So your shop has a variety of things that it does for people. You probably have a lot of repeat business, I would think.
That's what made both of our stores survive through this pandemic, and so grateful for the people that are there to support us and everyone in our community.
Well, we believe in your store. What are some of the testimonies of individuals that go into the store? What do they tell you? Why they continue to come back, or maybe why they go there in the first place through word of mouth?
Like we're explaining about, the experience, we treat everyone that comes through those doors like family. We don't treat people as a transaction. And then also to the feel good aspect of helping people halfway around the world and helping support, like we're saying about the bowls, 2,000 years of this family making a bowl. And then a lot of the other families that I work with are multi-generational. So it's just carrying on a legacy like I am with my family. I'm third generation entrepreneur and I want to keep it going for my kids and their kids. Keep it going.
There's not a lot of stores like your store in San Diego.
I would hope not.
There's not. Not just the physical aspect, but just the vibe of going there, and just the energy of the Old Town environment in itself. What's the best thing about being in Old Town that you like?
Meeting people from all around the world, from all walks of life, and just getting to see how beautiful the world is.
That makes your situation completely very unique, because there's not a lot of places like Old Town in San Diego. So you do get
Definitely
people from
not.
all over the world. So that would be phenomenally, probably really, you never know what's going to happen day to day.
Exactly. And the history, that's the Plymouth Rock of California. That's the birthplace. So having that history involved with what we're doing too makes it quite special as well.
So what's one of the things about your shop that you feel separates you from everybody else and other businesses? Maybe, I mean, because you're kind of like, you're not just a shop. It's almost like it's almost like it's a place to go and find peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no stress in there at all whatsoever. People want to get knowledge. You have a lot of information that you share with people. It's a combination of things. It's not just a place to come in and purchase items. It's more than that.
Yeah. It's a place where people can just unplug and just learn and grow, and it's incredible. That's what we strive to do on a daily basis, is to educate and just have a place where people come and just get to learn and just have a great experience.
So in the current times, it's a double-edged sword with the cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
How much disruption? The pro thing, of course, it's given us more information, but on the end spectrum, it's kind of negative. Some people just don't know when to put it down.
Mm-hmm.
That also has a vibration, right?
Definitely, and not a good one. Definitely not a good
So
one.
let's talk about that a little bit, because that seems to be the biggest addiction in probably the world right now. There was a time when they used to talk about, smoking and caffeine, but I think the phone has surpassed those two.
I would be very hard to believe that wouldn't be true.
So how do you advise people that are trying to get centered in their lives and get positive vibration? What do you tell them?
Just taking the first step, when you wake up in the morning, instead of going and grabbing your phone, just take some time and focus on what you want to achieve in the day. Just set your intentions, maybe take 5 to 10 minutes to meditate. Just don't make that your focal point, because I think in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the day, that sets the precedent and foundation for what the rest of the day will be. The most important thing to yourself is to take time and just to be happy. And I think the cell phone, even though it's an amazing tool, it detracts a lot away from that.
Do you use the cell phone?
I have to, through business. And
but you're aware of what it can do. And I mean, are you on it for a limited amount of time?
I try to be, absolutely. It's sad, when you see people out having a beautiful dinner, that's all they focus on is a phone, or out at the beach or the park, all they're doing is to see how many likes they have. It's kind of sad. It can be definitely a very powerful tool. There's no question about that, but everything in balance.
Thank you. I need to hear that because sometimes I do that myself. I get on there and my wife's like, you need to get off the phone. I'm like, oh man, that's right. I have it in my hand because you know what it is. You forget sometimes because it's just so easy to get to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to work at it.
Yeah. It's a world at your fingertips, literally.
So starting the day off with certain words and certain things and thoughts are important. What about ending the day?
Just as important.
So how do you end your day, or what do you suggest for people to do to end their day in a positive note?
I stop using my cell phone and stop watching TV at least like an hour and a half before I go to bed, because it gives your time for your body to unwind. And then you can, just relax and go into sleep that much easier.
So no phones, no TV for at least an hour before you go to sleep.
I would highly recommend that.
Do you meditate at all? Do you pray? What do you do?
A little bit of both, depending on how much time I have.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just say what I'm grateful for and just, what I'm looking forward for in the next day.
Do you have anything coming up with the opening of everything, as well as it's, everything's planned to open up? Hopefully everything does open up the way it's supposed to, because it is opening up a little bit. But what goals or plans do you have coming up? Anything planned at the shop, or anything planned on any trips maybe?
A little bit of both. I plan on setting up more workshops for the singing bowls. Plan on traveling to Nepal again here shortly because they just reopened up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, being a part of the community is very important, and there's such a wantingness to learn more about this and spirituality and meditation. So I want to be there to help people out and to learn and educate.
Now, we haven't really talked about this. You do dabble in yoga,
just a little bit.
You should go more into it.
Probably.
It'd probably be another added way to get people to get back into the zone of their spirit.
No, absolutely. And I have a great teacher. My manager, she's a teacher of meditation and yoga. So
did I meet her? Was she the girl that was there the other day?
Yep.
Is that why she was laughing when I mentioned yoga?
Exactly.
She was laughing because she's probably thinking, no, I'm really the expert.
Exactly.
And she was just being humble about it.
Well, you could call it that.
Where does she teach?
In various communities, like usually Ocean Beach and PB, and whoever invites her. And she's an amazing human being too. I'm very lucky to have her. There's no question about that.
Well, I don't believe in accidents. I think things are, in a way, things come together the way they're supposed to.
Synchronicity.
Right. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Of course.
We'd love to have you come back and talk about other subjects and talk more about vibration.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll get you in the big bowl next time.
I don't know if you can bring that thing in here. I mean, we got to go upstairs, and then you say big bowl. I see this 300-pound bowl for some reason.
Well, it's only probably 75 pounds, but
that's a heavy bowl.
Yeah.
So give us a website.
The website for my store is gumsaan.com, GUMSAAN.com. And our other store is minersgemsandminerals.com. And we're both located in the state park right across from each other and have a lot of.
So the miners part is your mom and dad.
Exactly.
That's cool. Hopefully they get to see the show. You'll show it to them at least a little bit, or they'll watch it.
Oh yeah. Hopefully.
I don't think I've ever met your mom and dad.
Probably not. I don't think
I'd like to meet him sometime.
I hope so.
Very cool. Okay. Casey Dugan, there you go. When you're in Old Town, check his place out. You're going to love it. And with support, buying some things so we can help India, Kathmandu.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you, Brett.
Appreciate it. And of course, now I got to say thank you to my sponsors, because we wouldn't have this show, and they help us pay the rent, which is nice. And it allows us to turn the lights on and all that other stuff. Of course, Attorney King. I'm tripping over my words because my blood sugar is low and I need to eat lunch, I think. Of course, I'd like to thank King for everything he does. Of course, Saquon Casino for doing all the wonderful things in the communities that they do, and Cody Martinez for his partnership. Indian Motorcycle, which is also handmade. I don't know if you knew that. The Indian Motorcycle is all pretty much handmade. Most of the bike is by individuals. Oh, wow. Beautiful motorcycle. And of course, I'd like to thank IB Fitness and Marina. And last but not least, our new sponsor, Nicky Rottens. And Tim Aaron for everything he does. A great bar, great restaurant in Coronado. If you get a chance, if you're visiting Coronado in California, go to Nicky Rottens. You will love the food. Great sports events that he has. Just an amazing place to go and eat and hang out. Everybody have a great day. And remember, it's all about vibration. And don't use your cell phones when you go to the park or when you're with the people that you love. And I'm talking to myself too, because I need to work at it. And also when you go to dinner, have a conversation, vibrate.
Exactly.
I'm going to work at it, Sarah, I promise. And everybody take care. And thanks.